All right, always fun to have Raw Chef Jane with us in our studio kitchen. It's a fun day, and she is making a pumpkin spice pudding, and it's so good.
Well, you know, yeah,
we already had a little sample.
Everybody's already tried it, and it is really good.
Yes.
I actually just came up with the recipe yesterday, and my poor husband.
Your poor husband.
The poor thing.
We need to do this every time you say.
Yep, poor husband.
Yes.
Has because he does that every time. He is the one, my guinea pig.
Yes.
So he had to. He's eaten, I think, 2 or 3 bowls of it so far.
You poor.
The poor.
Yes,
I know the poor dear.
He's
the
over there
poor
going.
Dear.
Yummy.
I know. And everybody in the studio so far has tried. The first one to try it was our director David, and he was like, "Whoa,
it's so good."
Yeah,
and so right away I said, "And this is good for me. It's okay."
Well, you know what's nice about this, okay? Now I'm using cashews. Now, please remember, when I was younger, I was allergic to everything under the sun. I've never in my life had a glass of milk because I was allergic to it as a child, from actually infanthood. When I was born with true allergies, and I couldn't eat a lot of things that were normally given to babies. In the 50s, late 40s and 50s, breastfeeding, of course, wasn't quite as popular. Formulas had come into play, and that was like an easier route. So many families were choosing to use formula rather than go a more natural route. And I was not able to eat that. So from childhood, I never had dairy. I never in my life had any dairy.
So you learned
at
an early age.
So, but what I didn't know was that there were alternatives to that, such as nut milks. But I was allergic to nuts anyhow, so it was like I was very limited to what I was able to ingest in my body. However, now that we're older and we're learning more and we're getting more into healthier options, this is a wonderful, healthier option. What's nice about this is that obviously there's no cholesterol, which is a real good thing. Now, you can make this with stevia. Now, you know that and last time I was on, I made a key lime pie, and I made it with stevia. There was no sugar in it whatsoever. So stevia can be used in this also, because the coconut palm sugar that I use in this doesn't really add anything to the texture. It does add a little bit to the color and a little bit more to the flavor. But coconut palm sugar also has a lower glycemic index, as does agave nectar. Okay, so we want to make sure, we want to be conscious of that. So if people are diabetic or pre-diabetic, predisposed to diabetes, you want to make sure that you want to watch your glycemic index on things. So we're going to start with a cup of raw cashew pieces, or raw cashews, whatever you want, and I have a 1/4 cup of coconut palm sugar that I'm putting in this. I'm going to take a pinch of my Himalayan salt, and I'm going to take a teaspoon of chia seeds, which I'm going to blend. Now, you know I've made chia pudding before, which has been like an untapioca pudding or a rice pudding and unrice pudding, okay? But your chia seeds are wonderful in your omega-3s. And they've got a bunch of nutrition.
Good for you.
And what I want to have done with this is I want this to break down in the dish. I don't want to have the pearls that you would have like in an untapioca or an unrice pudding.
So you're not going to have that texture.
You know, it's just going to add, what it's going to help to do is to give the pudding a texture and solidify it. Okay. So it's going to help a lot to do that. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a teaspoon of pumpkin pie spice and put that in here.
Smells so good.
Oh,
it smells like Thanksgiving
yummy?
already.
And then I'm going to put 3/4 of a cup of water in here. Okay, you can be a little bit less than that. It's fine. This is a 1/2 cup measuring that I'm using, so I'm just going to put that much in there.
Okay.
And then we're going to blend that up, and it's ready to eat. Now, you can let it sit in the refrigerator, and it does get better overnight, as my husband will attest.
Okay.
You can see him shaking his head over there. But it does get better overnight, and when it sits, because the flavors just get a chance to blend together, and it's really cool.
All right, well, we're going to let you blend it as we continue the show. When we come back, we're going to show you that and tell you about a special event that's coming up this weekend. You can find more information on rawchefjane.com. You can also check out her book. It's not just salads,